Hi, welcome back to the channel. I have a pretty quick tutorial for you today. I have two teenage daughters and they're kind of into, I guess you'd call them cottage core style hair accessories. So one of them asked me to make like a hair scarf to copy one that she has. And the other one asked if I could make a velvet bow clip for her hair. And we saw one of these in Target and she's like, oh, I'll just buy this one and you can copy it. And then she saw it was $14, which is so funny because this costs so little to make. So I'm going to show you how to make a bow today. And you might think you already know how to make a bow, but actually you don't just tie a bow. That doesn't work for this kind of a thing. It looks wonky and you have to constantly fix and adjust it. So this is the same technique I used to make like giant bows on the back of dresses, like my daughter's prom dress that one year. So this is the method that you'll use for a bow that you need to look nice without having to mess with it all the time. So let's get started. You can buy, all you need is this wide velvet ribbon. I got this half off, so I paid $2.50 per spool. So it's pretty cheap. It comes with 3 yards, so you can make 2 ribbons with two bows with one thing. And then you need the little hair clips too. I also paid $2.50 for this entire package, and I'll just keep them in my drawer. Whenever I need them, I will already have them on hand. Okay, so what you need to do, I'm going to make a blue one this time. This can be a no-sew project, but I do recommend hand sewing at least because it will stay better, and honestly, glue is just, you think it's easier, but it's just not always. Okay, so this one I cut 40 inches. This time I'm going to cut it 45 and make the tails a little bit longer. You do lose a little length when you trim it too at the end. So I'm going to cut this one, this blue one, 45. Of course, you can sort of play with the length. Okay, so this wired ribbon, if you'll notice my ribbon has wires in it, and you can actually just pull the wire right out. You can do this with the wire still in, but you're going to have to fuss with it to get it back in shape every time. Okay, so I took the wire out of the ribbon, and then I'm going to cut another piece that's 4.5 inches for the center. Take the wire out of that too. You can use any ribbon for this, of course, as wide as you want it to be. Wider the ribbon, the fuller your bow will look. Okay, so this is what you do. You don't just tie this in a bow. Oh, look how bent that end is. Okay, you take it, you center it. I'm actually going to mark the center by just kind of finger pressing it. Open it back out, take the ends, and lap them like this until your loops are about 7 inches apart, I would say. Let me measure. 7 or 8. Let's see, how big was this one? 7. So just pull until it looks about right. Okay, then we're going to prep this piece. If you just wrap it around like this, it's just a little bit too wide and your bow ends up being like really skinny in the middle. So I'm going to turn them in on each other a little bit like so. And I'm actually going to go stitch across the ends. If you're using glue, you can just glue across the ends. But I'm just going to run it under my machine real quick. Okay, that's the only machine sewing I'm going to do actually. The rest is just hand sewing. Okay, so you're going to carefully scrunch your bow in the middle. Make sure both sides are even so you don't have one big side. Sort of arrange it so that it looks pretty. You're going to wrap your center around it, flip it to the back, move this piece up, and then fold over this raw edge and fold it over the center. So there's no raw edge showing in the back. I'm going to stick a pin there through all the layers if I can. There we go. And then I'm going to turn it back over and arrange it so it looks pretty. I like my ends to be coming out from below the bow. Okay, so now I'm just going to thread a needle, a hand sewing needle with matching thread. Okay, knot the 2 ends together. snip. Okay, and I'm going to sew. I'm going to go up the side, catching the pieces of the bow underneath because I want it to be secure. I don't want it to be shifting around. So a few stitches up the side, and then I'm going to go across my folded over edge, taking small slip stitches. I'm going to remove that and hold it with my thumb. Then I'm going to go a few stitches down this side, catching in the bow pieces. I'm going to knot my thread, but I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to cut it yet. If you decided to glue instead of sew, you would not only glue this in place, you would try to get some hot glue underneath it too so it's stuck to the bow itself and not just to the rest of the centerpiece. Okay, now I need my hair clip. Try to pay attention to which way it needs to go on the hair. Usually you put it on from right to left. So it goes this direction. So I'm going to take my sewing thread and I'm going to go through the claw this way and then back through the fabric this way. And I'm going to do lots of stitches all the way to the very end of the clip. I hope you guys can't hear the construction zone that's happening in my house right now. We're about to lay some more kitchen tile. If you have ever lived in a house while you renovate it yourself, then talk to me in the comments, because solidarity, y'all. Okay, so down here it gets a little bit harder to stitch through, so just take something and I'm going to open the clip and stick this in the end of it so I can get my needle through the clip, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm almost as far as I can go. The rest of the clip is sort of hanging off the edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and knot it and tie it off. Pull up a loop and twice. I'm going to make my thread disappear by just threading it back through here and trimming. Okay, so if you decided to glue, then you don't just glue it on. I mean, you do glue it on straight across, but then you need to cut like a small circle of felt or fabric, and you need to open your clip and glue that in place right here, because that's going to make it stay. If you just try to glue it on and leave it like that, it's not going to stay, I promise. You need the felt to be stuck, to be glued to the velvet. So a small rectangle or a circle. Okay, next we just need to even up the ends. Mine are uneven, obviously. You can either cut them in a triangle like this, or you can cut them slanted. I'm going to use my ruler. Of course, you can eyeball it if you want. I'm just going to do 45-degree cuts. Okay, look how cute. My daughter's going to love this. She really loves these colors. This is the color she's been decorating her room in lately. So one more step. I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper. Put them under here, and I have this product called Fray Check. You can use clear nail polish if you don't have this, but clear nail polish doesn't dry clear like this does. I feel like even if you're not someone who sews, Fray Check is the handiest thing to have around in your house. My daughter keeps it in her ballet bag because, like, her point shoe ribbons and stuff, or you get a hole in your tights. I don't know. There's so many uses for Fray Check. So I'm turning my bow over to the satin side of the ribbon, and I'm going to apply this all the way across the edge and let it dry. Make sure I get the corner. So that will keep everything from fraying. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be back next week with a head scarf tutorial. Not just a square one. I'm going to make that kind too because my one daughter prefers that, but then my other daughter has this cute chiffon one with the elastic in the back. So we're going to make this next. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope y'all have a great day too. Bye.